Ford Motor Speedway. They're lean, they're mean, they're 5 to 7 horses, a man and machine. They're 4 wide before they start to slip and slide. The Coast2Coast Racing League 350A Modifieds, Pro Late Models, and the 360 Sprint Cars.
We are live on the Coast2Coast Racing Network here. Sorry about the little delay. We were live on my page, and then I brought up over here, and I realized I didn't change the stream key from last night, so my apologies. But we are up, we are running, and we are at the dirt track at Charlotte. 360 sprint car action, and I'm joined in the booth tonight by a friend, somebody who hasn't raced a lot this season, but anytime that 35's on the track, you got to watch out for Connor Ross. Connor, what do you got tonight?
Not a whole lot, just trying to get back into some sim racing as I'm finally free from the off season. But we're at the dirt track of Charlotte, and it's a wide, great racing, and I think I seen a post where you guys were 4 wide. I don't know if it was a finish or you guys were just running 4 wide lap after lap from last week of Hometown Heroes, but I'm just pumped to be back.
Yeah, and well, watching you guys run around out there, what's the qualifying line look like? Is it going to be a top line here, bottom line? What are we thinking?
I think middle to bottom, enter in the middle and kind of diamond down. It's just the way the cars are geared up. The top, if you're on it completely, you'll be chipping out pretty hard around that, around where that fluffy stuff is. So I think I'm going to try and keep it down middle to bottom so I can not keep it choked down, but it'll be faster there. So I'm not on the chip the entire way around the corner.
We're watching Bob DeGood right now, his opening lap. He's going to run the high side for the opener. Purple for second one. Just got taken away from him. Now lap number 2, he's going to go downstairs. So probably the smart move, you know, try the high side lap number 1 and go down there after you got some speed build up. Let's see where Bob DeGood comes home. Currently 4th. Does he improve? No, going to stay 4th, but not a bad run for Bob DeGood as the Dark Knight Gavin Chatham currently up top on the charts. Lap 2 isn't going to be any better, but the salesman Blake Chapman comes around lap number 1, purple through sector 2. Only good enough for P2 though. Let's see what the salesman can do second time around. Blake Chapman quicker through sector 1, slower through sector 2, and Blake Chapman's going to stay P2 for now. Brian Moore Jr. brings it home in the top 5. His second time around here, going to be slower through both sectors. He's not going to. There's Connor Ross there. He's going to bring it home 10th. And our last qualifier to put in a time here. Everyone else is gone. The top 15, as you see there. But the 30 of Stephen Goldner here. He comes lap number 1, 13.096. Where does that put Stephen Goldner? Possibly the lap didn't count for Stephen. Is not sure if Connor, this is maybe my iRacing, but he was blinking in and out a little bit.
I didn't see him blinking it out, but no, his lap time definitely didn't show up. As you were reading, I was kind of trying to follow along and see where he'd slot in, but no, I didn't see it register. Still hasn't, so he'll be taking along 8th in Heat 2.
Yeah, that's not going to be an easy road to overcome here as we look at the starting grid here for heat race number 1. Once again, thank you for joining us here for Flatline Racing Bodies, hometown heroes, the dirt track at Charlotte, man. This is where the action's at. Brian Moore Sr. starting to the inside of his son, Brian Moore Jr. We've got a Brian Moore front row. Pat Boyce to the inside of row number 2, and Brian Moore Sr. Does he possibly have a heat EOL? I'm guessing here, because it looks like Pat Boyce is going to move up to the front row, but we'll call it as is. Pat Boyce to the inside of row 2. The Dark Knight 2 is outside Gavin Chatham. Bob DeGood inside of row 3. Brad Waite to his outside. The 117 of Michael Todd inside of row 4 into his outside. The Mayor Steve Bixler, and looks like we are going to do the extra pace lap here in heat race number 1. And Connor, we know you're not in this one, but what kind of stuff are you looking for here? What are you trying to learn?
Since I'm in Heat 2, I'm just trying to see where the faster guys are running and how they're running, if they're entering in a little under the fluff and sliding up, or just about the slick and sliding up, or vice versa. So I'm just trying to take some notes here. Ones to watch are obviously both Moores, they're fast, senior and junior, and obviously Chatham, but you can't sleep on Pat Boyce. This is a pretty star-studded heat race here.
Oh, yeah, and while you were talking there, I clicked up the points, and Brian Moore Sr., he is P2 in points. Brian Moore Jr. in that top 5, so he'd love a good run here, but Pat Boyce, that salty dog, he's going to be tough to tame here. The green flag's high, it's ready to fly. We're ready to play in the clay for heat race number 1. Pat Boyce going to make his mark here early. That dog's going to pee on his territory, slides that right rear up in front of Brian Moore Jr., and he takes the lead early.
Gavin Chatham Junior gets loose there, and Chatham gets under him. Now Junior slips back to 4th there.
Yeah, now Brad Waite on the inside here. He's trying to mount the charge on Junior, and the thing is, if he can't get it to work, he's got to find a way back up top, because here comes Bob DeGood in that 7 machine. He's going to peek to the outside. They're side by side going into 3. Brad Waite's going to send it.
Good battle for 4th and 5th as they're still side by side with DeGood on the high side, and Waite just running that middle line, and Brian Morse Jr. is not too far ahead of them.
Man, I mean, these guys, all sorts. Oh, their contact. Bob DeGood gets into the back of the 814 of Brad Waite, and he goes hard around, and all that the while the white flag getting ready to fly here. One more trip around. Pat Boyce able to hold off the 99. Can he do it for one more lap?
Gavin Chatham looks to drive under his left rear a little bit, entering 3 and 4. He's going to throw a slide job on Pat Boyce for the last lap, and Pat Boyce makes contact.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if you meant to say it like that, but that is exactly how I would say that. You know, Pat Boyce made contact. That's a case of, you know, you see the slider, you got to crack the throttle and drive under. Even if you're coming to the checkered flag, it almost cost him P2. So not going to be a big deal now, but we both know sometimes, man, that can cost you. And he got lucky.
Yeah, he definitely did. And there's a point in the slider, and I've been on both ends of it, and it sucks, but driving under it, sometimes you can get a way better run than the guy throwing in it. It's just it's a weird spot. You think if you keep your foot in it, it might work out, but sometimes it's just better to lift. And like I said, I've been on both ends of the stick.
Yeah, you know, it's tough, but sometimes that's definitely the move. And like I say, didn't end up costing either one of them there, but we'll probably remember each other here when we start the features. Get ready for heat race number 2. Randy Shreves on the inside of the front row, into his outside, Ross the Boss Carina. Inside of row number 2, Jack Clevenger. Into his outside, the salesman, Blake Chapman. Ross, row number 3, no relation. Connor, my booth partner, to the inside. Into his outside, Devo. That's row number 3. Inside of row 4, the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker. Into his outside, Steven Goldman. Connor, I'll throw you on mute here. Good luck, my man. He is getting ready to race. So Connor Ross here in the field. Takeoff for heat race number 2, Randy Shreves. He saw the blueprint, but not able to get up in front of the boss. As the boss with a great restart, he supplants himself in the lead, and Blake Chapman up there running in third. He knows that high side is the place to be right now, but he's got 2 guys battling. Devo with a mistake, and that allows, Steven Goldner in the 30. That's similar blue there. Goldner from worst to 4th already here in 2 laps. Keep an eye on that 30 mission. Now he gets in the wall. Commentator's curse here as we'll move up towards the front. The front 3 still in line here. Randy Shreves just feeling good, tucked up right now. He knows if he stays this close, it's going to be real difficult with the sales to throw a slider, but he does get too close. Blake can try to do one discount as we roll out of 4. 2 fingers in the air, 2 more trips around. Jack Clevenger battled his way back up to 4th, or up to 4th here after starting 5th. Stephen Goldner trying to move his way on up, but then we roll out of 4, white flag in the air. Final time around for Ross Carina. Ross supplanted himself on the outside there through 1 and 2. Able to get a great run, and he never looked back. And Ross Carina takes the checkers in heat race number 2. Followed by Randy Shreves, Blake Chapman, Jack Clevenger, Connor Ross, and Donovan Ross rounding out the cars on that finish there. Stephen Goldner and Jeff Barker rounding out the field. As we can unmute Connor here, and we'll ask him, what's the track like, Connor?
Sorry, I was just writing an apology message to Donovan Ross, but it's definitely a topside. That's where you want to be, topside fast. It's weird. The gearing's so weird, and I haven't been on iRacing in a while. I'm a little bit washed up, but just trying to get it back together. But high side's definitely where you want to be, and it'll definitely change throughout the race, I think. But right now, I think that's just where you want to be.
All right, with that, we're going to take a real quick break here on the Coast2Coast Racing Network, and we'll be right back with tonight's first feature here with Flatline Racing Body's Hometown Heroes. We are back live on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, and I've got to hurry up and I've got to rewind this because I saw something right before I went live. We're about to watch Pat Boyce just bicycle. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Contact back there, and look at how far this goes. Oh my gosh. I tried to bring us back as that was going live, but man, I screwed around a little too much. That was a wild ride for Pat Boyce. Gavin Chatham, P1 right now. Blake Chapman, P2, and Ross Corinna rounds out the top 3. As Connor Ross found a little bit of speed there in warm-ups. You're in the realm. You're in the top 5 now, Connor.
Yeah. I was right up in that fluff there. It's definitely faster, but I just don't know with how much tire it'll burn or fuel. Like, you're on it and you're on the chip pretty hard. So I kind of wish it would slick off a lot more, so you wouldn't have to use as much throttle. But it'll towards the later stage of the race, when everybody's up there, I think entry and exit, you'll definitely have to be a little cautious.
Well, let's get ready here to read off the starting grid here for tonight's 360 feature event presented by Flatline Racing Bodies. Starting on the pole in the 99, the Dark Knight, Gavin Chatham. And to his outside in the 10, Ross, the Boss, Corinna. Inside of row number 2, the 09 of Brian Moore Jr. And to his outside, the 56 of Randy Shreves. Inside of row number 3, the Librarian, Pat Boyce. And to his outside in the 20 machine, the Salesman, Blake Chapman. Inside of row number 4, in the 55, Brian Moore Sr., your second in points. Blake Chapman was actually your points leader. My apologies. Brian Moore Sr. there to the inside of row number 4. And to his outside, Jack Clevenger. The Mayor, Steve Bixler, to the inside of row 5. And to his outside in the 35, Connor Ross. Michael Todd in the 117 to the inside of row 6. And to his outside, Steven Goldner. Brad Waite to the inside of row 7, and his dancing partner to the outside, Devo Ross. Inside of row number 4, Bob DeGood, and his outside, his teammate, the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker. Connor, real quick, man, who you got before I mute you?
I don't know, because with Goldner and Devo starting back there's Chapman, both Chatham, and all those guys. I don't know. I'm going to go with Gavin.
All right, you heard the man. As the green flag is high, it's ready to fly. He's going to take Gavin Chatham, and I'm going to take Ross Corinna in the 10 here as they battle early. Randy Shreves looks to his inside through turn number 1, but they all try to single file out there the top 3 and 4. Battle one behind him, though. Brian Moore Jr. tries to look to the inside. He's going to lose all momentum, and now the kid, the Salesman, looks to his outside. He likes that slider line through 3 and 4. He's going to plant it in the middle. And man, oh man, did the Salesman get a good run. He may have found something. Looks downstairs through 1 and 2, and he pulls up right beside the 56 of Randy Shreves, looking to make quick work here, but he doesn't go back to that slider line. Stays down in the basement through 3 and 4, and we'll see if that's going to hurt him in the long run. Able to make the move here coming out of 2, and he's got him. He could have went up and shut the door, but Blake likes the bottom. That's where he sells popcorn, down in the basement here. And 20 moves up to that final podium spot as Ross Corinna looks like he's just trying to throw Hail Marys, trying to do what he can to stick with this 99 as Gavin Chatham pulling away, and Randy Shreves, he's like the little brother who won't go away. He sneaks back around Blake on the high side. The Moores find themselves together here as Brian Moore Sr. able to get in front of his son, Junior. His senior knows he wants to run for these points. You know, you can't have a bunch of bad nights. You got to be good. And you see the point leader 2 spots up ahead of you. It's time to go. As Pat Boyce feeling the pressure as well from Brian Moore Jr. That's Stephen Goldner, that blue main sprint car coming in. And Pat Boyce gets a little loose. He opens up that top shelf for Goldner. Goldner sticks it up there, and that 30's going to move on by. Man, these guys have not stopped for third. Been watching the relative just side by side going at it. Blake trying to conserve right now, just taking it easy on the bottom. And, you know, that'll work for a little bit, but Blake, he doesn't want to give anything up. He doesn't want to give up track position. You want to go when you're quick, and if you're the salesman, you can't wait too long here as the caution comes out. And when we restart, Blake may find himself in 4th place here as it looks like the 30 of Steven Goldner involved in the first caution of the evening. Oh, bad net code between him and the 41, and then, well, man, I don't know if I can say that on TV. They enter each other there. And Steven Goldner ends up on the lid and gets punished, but that was all net code to start out with. I'm sure Steven Goldner probably a little frustrated, but when he gets a chance to actually go look at that, there was a big gap between him and the 41, and all of a sudden, it just makes that 30 car spike around. So tough break here, but able to get in 10 green flag laps before we see our first caution, and pretty good way to pace off the start here. Definitely can't be disappointed in that whatsoever. But if you're out there watching tonight, make sure you let us know who you're rooting for in that chat box. Always interested to see who you're rooting for. Hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button. Going over to Shaggy TV, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button. As we double up here, Gavin Chatham in the 99. Likes the bottom here for the restart, and I imagine, there's a lot of grip down there. He'll be able to find it coming out of 4 and just accelerate a lot better than if he chose that high side. So Gavin Chatham here as we head into turn 3 to bring us to the green flag. As the green flag is high, it's ready to fly. Restart number 1 at the dirt track at Charlotte. Great restart for the 99 of Gavin Chatham. The battle's on behind here, though. Brian Moore Jr. looking to the outside of, or Senior, looking to the outside of Jack Levenger. As they're 3 wide in front of him. Ross Corinne on the top shelf. Randy Shreves in the middle. And do I even need to say it? We know who's down in the basement. He's been there all race. The salesman up here battling for that middle podium spot. That boy stuck in the middle, 3 wide there as Connor Ross kind of gets pinched off on entry going into 1. And now it float up. They make a little contact and no caution here as the 35 and the 41 turn around. Move on up to the leader there. Connor's able to get rolling. Not sure about the 41. Chatham real close to that outside wall in 3 and 4, really ripping it, just trying to carry momentum. And 11 more times around as Blake Chapman trying to secure P2, and Brian Moore Sr. and Randy Shreves going at it hard behind. Brian Moore Sr. pulling ever so close to that 56, but we saw him throw that slide job, just wasn't able to hold momentum after the slider and hold off the 56, so he's got to regroup. Got to try to carry speed here, and if he gets a good run, not a good enough one there to look low, but that's what he's trying to do. Ross Corinna. He's done a much better job here at keeping up with the 99 on this stint. Kind of let the 99 get away from him early on. Ever since this restart, Ross showing why we call him the boss. 10 car reeling in Gavin Chatham, and he knows it's time to eat here. We'll go ahead and we'll unmute him. Not sure if he's here or not, but man, we got a battle up front.
Yeah, we definitely do. When you were unmuting me, I don't know if Gavin made a little bit of a mistake, but the boss closed in heavily in 1 and 2 like he does now. Gavin's been getting a better exit, but when I say that, they were pretty even on exit.
Yeah, these last couple laps, it's been that line for Ross. He's throwing almost a mid-slider, entering 1 and 2, that 2 lanes lower, and just ripping up. And he's making up a lot of time on entry. You said it, the 99 getting him a little bit coming off, but I just think, the payoff is so great on entry that that's what he's got to do until he gets close enough.
The last few laps, Ross has been losing a little in 3 and 4, and then the last lap there, he kind of threw a slider, and he wasn't losing as much. I'd say they were even, but Gavin was able to open up that lead a tiny bit more than what it has been that last lap.
And if you're Ross, you see the 99 make a little hiccup there, getting the outside wall, but able to carry speed. And you see 2 flags in the air, 2 more trips around. If you're the 10, you got to think, you've done everything you can. You're almost just hoping that 99 makes a mistake.
No, exactly. You seen Ross drive it down on the bottom of 1 and 2. He's just trying to give it everything and try and find something. He's finding grip right now, but he's just can't find it enough to get past Gavin.
Well, the white flag's in the air. Final time down the backstretch as the 99 of Gavin Chatham throws it into turn 3, carries all that speed on the top shelf, and he takes home the checkered flag for the Flatline Racing Bodies Hometown Heroes 360s at the dirt track at Charlotte. Ross Corinna comes home P2. The Salesman brings home P3. Randy Shreves 4th. And Brian Moore Sr. rounding out the top 5. Brian Moore Jr. 6th. Jack Clevenger 7th. Brad Waite 8th. Steve Bixler 9th. Stephen Goldner rounding out the top 10 in the rest of your field. Jeff Barker, Donovan Ross, Michael Todd, Bob DeGood, Connor Ross, and Pat Boyce rounding out the field in 16th here. As we give these guys a minute or 2 to catch their breath. Only 1 caution here tonight is Connor, tough break for you guys. No, you didn't get the caution there to rejoin, but probably made these guys happy.
Yeah, no, 1,000%. After we made contact, I was able to run it, but the leaders were a lot faster as I had some damage, and that's the last thing I want to do is get tangled up with the leaders as a lap car. So I just pulled it in and figured I'd come up, announce, and watch the last few laps.
Let's see here. We got the sale. Oh, he just did make his way on up here. We'll bring him on up here. Blake, Shaggy up here in the booth, man. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, hey, able to bring home P2, committed to the bottom there early on. Was that a save my stuff kind of move, or did you just like what was down there?
Yeah, that was just kind of a let's find a line that where we can actually pass cars kind of move. Because, after that heat race, it's like, oh boy, this is going to be a top side show for sure. And during the warm up, I felt pretty good down there. So I went up there pretty early in the feature and it still felt good. A little went away on me towards the end there, though, on entry. It just slowed me down a little too much. That top was still too fast, but fortunately, we were able to pick a couple cars off using that bottom line.
Yeah, do you think, on that last restart, if you go back and do it all over again, you try to get to that top shelf behind Ross, or do you think you kind of finished where you should have tonight with the current track?
I think this was an appropriate finish for how fast I felt. I went up there after Ross got back around me after that restart and just didn't feel as fast up there as those guys were. So, hopefully it'll be a little different for the 410s. Hopefully a couple more lines will come into play and we'll be able to finish a couple spots better.
Well, hey, man, that's why we love you, kid. That's honesty. Not every night is your night. Different track conditions. The car can feel different ways, and we know how much you like that bottom, but it just gave away there on you too early. So congratulations, man. Good, hard-fought P3. Who you want to thank?
Yeah, I got to thank Mom and Dad for watching. Got to thank all the guys on the Kreitz Sim Racing team. I got to thank Preston at Epsilon Sprint Wraps and AJ Custom Creations. And, of course, Galen's Gourmet Popcorn. They got some of the best stuff out there. You can head over to their website and use code CART, that's C-A-R-T, at checkout for 15% off. And, of course, I got to thank Flatline Racing Bodies for sponsoring Hometown Heroes and you for putting the broadcast on, Shaggy.
Well, hey, heck of a run here, Blake. Congratulations, man. And, like you said, hopefully you can figure something out here in the 410s and maybe get that bottom to work here.
Yeah, I hope so. Thank you.
Now we're going to bring up the man who finished P2. I know you were racing out there, Connor, but do you want to interview the man?
Yeah, sure. I can interview the boss. Alt Ross, you finished P2 here tonight. We noticed you were trying to run a different line in 1 and 2. Gavin was up top all around, but you were throwing that short slider in 1 and 2, just trying to get him a little bit on exit, just trying to run a different line. Is there anything you could have done better, or were you kind of just needing Gavin to make a mistake up there?
Yeah, no, you kind of nailed it on the coffin there. It's just he was running the top so perfect that I knew I couldn't just follow him around. I don't think I could have did it any better than he was. So had to try something different Honestly, I think it did work for a while. There was a couple laps where I think I reeled him in pretty good. I was on his tail tank, but that bottom, or not bottom, but middle top, if you want to call it, kind of went away. And then after that, I had to follow him around again and just kind of hope that he made a mistake. But unfortunately for me, he did not. And here we are, second place.
Yeah, that was a weird track tonight because, like you were mentioning, there were a few times, well, half of the race, I don't want to say half, but from the few laps I saw, you were running that kind of slider-ish line in 1 and 2, and you were even. It's not like he was pulling away, and you definitely reeled him in there. There was just nothing in 3 and 4. Just that track's pretty weird. I've never seen Charlotte like that, but hopefully we can get something better for the 410 race. Anybody you got to thank for tonight's P2 finish?
Yeah, I mean, obviously these are fixed setups, but open setup stuff at M9, Trevor Meyer, Velocity Race Design, the guys at Phantom Motorsports, everybody behind the scenes at Coast to Coast, keeping this league going, and then you guys up in the booth giving us some entertainment.
Well, congrats on your P2 run, and good luck in the 410s.
Thank you. You too.
Yes, Ross, he's got to be the favorite, or one of the favorites going into the 410s, and possibly one of the best compliments I've heard. We know how good Ross Corinna is, and Gavin, you probably didn't hear that, but the boss just said he doesn't think he could run the top any better than you were. I mean, you were on rails tonight. Were you seeing things differently? Could you even hear what was going on? Were you literally in the zone?
I was pretty in the zone. I about junked it coming off of 4 down the front stretch at 1 lap. I was telling Ross about that. I think 3 to go. I thought I gave the race away. Just gassed it up a little too much. I pointed the car straight towards the wall. We got into hit it pretty hard, but thank goodness nothing broke on it, and we were able to just keep rolling. Yeah, I was just really super focused on hitting that top because I knew that if you could rip the lip, it was going to be fast up there, and I was definitely beating the boards down for sure. But there was definitely sketchy. It was just getting a little bit rough up there, and it kind of felt like Knoxville's cushion a little bit there, where it was just getting rough. And I about put in the fence 3 or 4 times, but I guess high risk, high reward, and we'll take the win tonight for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we just watched you, getting close there, coming off a 2 on the replay. I mean, you were wicked close a couple times. I mean, painting new lines up there in the Hershey Kisses, but like you said, high risk, high reward, man. And if you're willing to get that close, you see the payoff, you can take home the checkers. And Gavin, if not for a restart, or only 1 caution, but if not for that caution, man, you were way out there. You were dominating tonight. Great run in that 99. Who you want to thank?
I just want to thank you guys for doing an awesome job with the broadcast. I want to thank all the Flatline Racing Bodies that have been a long-time sponsor here for Hometown Heroes. So I want to thank the sponsors for supporting the series. I just want to thank Coast to Coast, all the admin, everybody behind the scenes, everybody involved in putting these races on for us to come out here and put on a good show. I just want to thank Chatham Motorsports, My Chick Motorsports Design, Velocity Race Design, Northeast Outlaw Motorsports, Miller Time Motorsports, and Slider Die Sim Sports. Just thank all the sponsors. I want to thank the fans for coming out and watching the races and supporting this league and this division, and hopefully we'll put on a good show for y'all tonight. And I just want to thank my fans as well for coming out and supporting me, and congrats to Ross and Blake on an awesome run. It was a good race. I definitely thought the top was going to go away there, but it worked out. I think maybe 5 or so more laps it would have been gone. But congrats to them on an awesome run, and hopefully we'll go get them in the 410s.
Yeah, man, great run here, and well, you took the words right out of my mouth there. Go get him in the 410s, Gavin. Congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
And that's your winner here in the 360s for the part 1 of Flatline Racing Body's Hometown Heroes. As you see the 99 here parking it right in front of the flag stand, getting ready for his winner photo. And while he does that, we're going to take a break here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network, and we will be right back with the 410s here at the dirt track at Charlotte. Stick around.
It's time for another edition of RSN Trackside, powered by Bob Johnson Auto Group on Rock Sports Network. Kiss on the champion. Trying to be a bit of a hiatus, so let's get. Tonight we'll be talking about it.
Outpouring of love was amazing. These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized, no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive. So having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
I was involved in a pretty gnarly sprint car crash. Found out my brain was swelling and bleeding. Pelvic bone was broken. I had 2 cracked vertebrae on my back, and I was in the ICU a little over a week. The Steve King Foundation reached out to my parents. We received a donation from them. Immediately they started me on what's called neurofeedback, and insurance did not cover the neurofeedback appointments. So we received another donation from the Steve King Foundation. It really helped a lot, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to the Steve King Foundation for everything that they have done for me. This last Sunday, I got to turn laps in my modified here. That was my first laps back in a race car since the accident, and I truly believe that if it wasn't for the Steve King Foundation, I wouldn't be able to do that or be where I'm at today.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
And we are back on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. I'm Zach Chapman with Shaggy TV. Connor Ross stepping away for a minute or two here as grab a quick drink before he gets ready for his second race of the evening. Part 2 of Flatline Racing Body's hometown heroes set to come up. First track in Charlotte. The bird from East, Jeff Barker, currently at the top of the speed charts. Brian Moore Sr. Let's go ahead. Let's take a look at the maybe. There we go. Brian Moore Sr. with that lead coming in, 1 point lead over Blake Chapman. But Blake, you see, one less race run, so when they counter in drops, or when they count the drop weeks, 2 drop weeks per driver, Blake is looking to probably inherit that lead here as the checkered flag waves on the session, and we get ready to roll into qualifying here at the dirt track at Charlotte. Let's see who goes out on the track first. It's looking like it's going to be Randy Shreves in the 56. Let's follow Randy Shreves in this opening lap. This will get set to cross the start-finish line, and he's in for lap number 1. Oh, and Shaggy doesn't click the right camera. There we go. Runs that bottom 2, 3, and 4. Still a lot of grip. Purple. That's what you want to do there. You want to rip that inside. Maybe use the opening lap to get speed around the outside and burn off some fuel. But he likes the bottom right now. Blake Chapman purple through sector 2. Where does that put Blake? Is Brian Moore Sr. takes the pole. Your point leader, but not for long. The Dark Knight. Purple. Gavin Chatham. Quick time at the dirt track at Charlotte. Connor Ross went around P11. Not much luck for him. Let's see what Ross Corinna can do. And Ross Corinna so far P11. Not going to be happy with that, I wouldn't think. Let's see if he can improve. Purple through sector 2. Not sure if this lap actually... Yeah, it does count for Ross. Couldn't tell if he had run an extra lap or not. Ross Corinna brings it home P5. Gavin Chatham, your pole sitter. Jack Clevenger second. Blake Chapman rounding out the top 3 for qualifying here. Well, Connor, a pretty fresh track here. It seems like it's going to be tough to pass here early on.
Yeah, it's definitely a really fast track, but you never know. Sometimes iRacing and Charlotte can surprise us, but definitely going to be really fast. But like I said, sometimes the middle's racier, but bottom's fastest. Sometimes it doesn't make sense like that, but you never know.
Well, once again here, you missed the draw for heat race number 1, so you're going to be starting on the outside. But let's see who's fighting for the pole here at the dirt track at Charlotte for the Flatline Racing Body's hometown heroes 410s. Brad Waite in the 814 is going to be on the pole, and his outside in the 10, Ross Corinna. Blake Chapman to the inside of row number 2, and to his outside in the 99, Gavin Chatham. Stephen Goldner to the inside of row number 3, and to his outside, Brian Moore Jr. The mayor, Steve Bixler, rounds out the field. Here's we get ready for heat race number 1. Connor, what do you got your eye on real quick?
I can't even pick a car. They're all fast.
Yeah,
you got Moore and Goldner third row. You got Chapman and Chatham second row, Corinta and Waite front row. So this is gonna be a tough one. It'll be fast though.
Well, the green flag is high. It's ready to fly. We're off for heat race number 1 at the dirt track at Charlotte. Early, right away, Brad Waite able to get up high, but Ross gonna counter back through 3 and 4. He throws a big slider, and he leads lap number 1.
Chatham's trying to make it work under Brad Waite. They almost made contact there, and that kind of opens up a gap. And Ross is definitely driving away a little bit here.
Yeah, and that's where it's a fine line. You want to get around that guy in front of you if you're Gavin, but man, you got to do it quick. You don't want to race him too long. Let Ross get away from you, because if they let that 10 start on the pole, he's going to be tough to beat. Gavin knows that. He started on the pole for that 360 feature and had a heck of a time holding off Ross. So he doesn't want the shoe to be on the other foot here. As 2 laps to go, he looks to the high side.
Chatham is making that high side work around Waite, and Waite slides up in front of him. Gavin drives it under him. We're going to look and see if there's a slider going into 3 and 4 here.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be after that contact on down the backstretch. A white flag in the air final time around, and this is what the boss wants to see. Side by side behind him, Brad Waite's got to leave it open. And looky who, the salesman, he thought about it. As we come to the checkers, Ross Corinna wins heat race number 2, followed by Brad Waite, Gavin Chatham, Blake Chapman, Brian Moore Jr., Stephen Goldner, and Stephen Bixler. Man, it got exciting going into 3 and 4.
Yeah, no, that was an awesome awesome finish there. And Gavin, I think Gavin thought Wade was going to slide up completely there. And Gavin kind of lifted a little, and Brad left an outside lane there, and then Gavin finally filled it, but I think it was just a little too late. There's a slight hesitation.
Well, as we get ready for the final heat race of the night here for Flatline Racing Body's Hometown Heroes, we'll take a look at our starting grid. Starting on the pole, the 513, the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker, and it is outside in the 56, Randy Shreves. Brian Moore Sr. in the 558 to the inside of row number 3, and to his outside in the 78, Jack Clevenger. Bob DeGood to the inside of row number 3, and rounding out the field, my partner, Connor Ross here. Good luck, brother.
Thank you.
Throw Connor on mute here, keep him out of trouble, and we'll watch the cars roll through turn 3. Steed King Foundation pace truck off. The green flag is high. It's ready to fly. 6 laps to decide the outside rows here for tonight's feature, and we're off. Randy Shreves with a good run through the outside of 1 and 2, and he's looking to bring Jack Clevenger along as Jeff Barker's stuck down low for now. He knows he needs to get up there and shut that door, but he sees all that grip down there. He's going to send it in. He's not giving up his fight just yet as they battle hard behind. Connor Ross looks to the inside of Brian Moore Sr. He's got room to float up. He does, and Brian maybe gets into the back of Connor. Connor's going to have to scrap this thing broken right front here as we roll through turns 4, halfway home. Randy Shreves looking to win heat race number 2. Jack Clevenger started 4th up the 2nd. He'd like to get one more, but he's running out of time in that 78 machine as we come out of 4. 2 more trips around. Jeff Barker slowly creeping up too on the back of that 78 machine of Jack Clevenger, but you got to think they're all running out of time. White flag in the air, top 4 single file. Without a mistake here, you got to think this is how they're going to finish as we go through 3 and 4. Randy Shreves carries all that momentum. He takes heat race number 2, followed by Jack Clevenger, Jeff Barker, Brian Moore Sr., Bob DeGood, and Connor Ross. With that, we're going to take a quick break here on the Coast2Coast Racing Network, and we'll be right back after your warm-up action here. Stick around. We are back live on the Coast2Coast Racing Network. A little over 40 seconds here till we roll into the feature, and no surprise, top two, Gavin Chatham, Blake Chapman, and now maybe a little bit of a surprise here, Connor Ross. Connor, you know, you gotten a little mix-up there in heat race number 2, but you got a car that can move your way on up.
I'm not sure with Ross starting on the pole there and Gavin starting, I think, P4 or P3. It's going to be tough. There's a lot of fast guys up front, but it's 25 laps here at Charlotte, and you never know what can happen.
Well, you know, to people who race in Coast to Coast, they know, but for everyone else out there, got a couple family members watching. Connor, you've been running some crate sprints, man. Does any of that translate to iRacing, or does anything from iRacing translate to the sprints? What do you think about that?
It doesn't. It's like yes and no. Like, you don't really feel the same as you do in iRacing. Like, the cars don't. They do drive a little bit similar, but not really. But you learn racecraft. When to, like, if somebody throws a slider on you, if when to back out, when to drive under, and when to keep your foot in it, when to pass somebody, when it's a good time to, you know, you just learn racecraft and proper kind of etiquette, I guess, on iRacing. But it's a whole different animal being behind the wheel of a sprint car in real life.
Well, let's get ready to take a look here at the starting grid here for tonight's final feature of the evening here for Flatline Racing Body's Hometown Heroes. Starting on the pole, the boss, Ross Corinna, into his outside, Randy Shreves. Inside of row number 2, Brad Wade, into his outside, Jack Clevenger. Gavin Chatham on the inside of row number 3, into his outside, the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker. The salesman, Blake Chapman, lines up on the inside of row number 4, into his outside, Brian Moore Sr. Brian Moore Jr. to the inside of row 5, into his outside, Bob DeGood. Row number 6, Stephen Goldner on the inside, and to his outside in the 35, my partner, Connor Ross. Rounding out the field this evening in that 75 machine, we've got the mayor, Steve Bixon. Well, Connor, you picked the last one. Who you got?
You know, I'm going to go 2 for 2. I'm going to go back with Gavin, but it's going to be hard to beat Ross. But I'm going to go with Gavin.
Yeah, I'm going to take Ross this time here. I think I damned him the last time, but we'll see if maybe I can make up for it here by picking him. In the second is we're going to throw Connor on mute here. Good luck, brother.
Thank you.
And they roll through 3 and 4 for the final time. As the green flag is high, it's ready to fly. 25 laps to play in the clay at the dirt track at Charlotte. We're underway. Randy Shreves, not the best start here. You see Ross Corinna able to really get out front. Takes advantage of that bottom line through 1 and 2. Got good pace, able to set sail. Randy Shreves following here. He moves on up. Jack Clevenger up 1 spot early, as well as Gavin Chatham. Brad Wade struggling down there in the bottom in that 814. No surprise behind him, though. He's trying to make it work the sail through Blake Chapman as he floats up. Gets real close to Jeff Barker. He's in the middle now, but Jeff possibly backs out of that. Live to race another day here, but battle on up front is Randy Shreves trying to look low. Jack Clevenger flirting around there in the middle line through 1 and 2. Runs the extreme top in 3 and 4. Maybe a little too high. Gavin Chatham in the 99. He searched low there, thought about looking under, but goes right back to the top in 1 and 2. And, you know, these guys, they're just playing chess right now. You make a move, and you hope the guy in front tries to block that move, and then you say, gotcha. I wanted to do this all along. That's what drivers have to do here right now on a track where, 3 wide. Connor Ross tips it up in there, almost 4 wide. He shoots through, gets 4 cars in the matter of a straightaway. Jeff Barker tries to diamond down. He makes contact with Brian Moore Jr. No caution for now. They race on. Jeff Barker able to keep rolling, and Connor Ross, what a move in that 35 as we finally are under caution Not too sure what brought that out, if it was Brian Moore Sr., possibly. Let's see here. Yeah, so totally unrelated. Slides in. Wow! Punts the salesman in 3 and 4. And man, oh man, Blake not going to be a happy camper down there in that pit stall using a quick repair. Let's see if we can go back and we'll try to, your Blake. Let's just ride on board with Blake here. I mean, Blake's just minding his own business. Boom! He just punted out of the way, and tough break for the salesman as he drives into turn 1 here, realizes the right front's broken. That's really going to put a damper on his night here. Ross Carina still leading the way here with 18 to go, though your hard charger got 2 of them. Steven Goldner up 6 spots there in the 5th position, and right behind him, the man up in the booth here, Connor Ross. Saw he made that big move, got 4 guys in a matter of 2 turns, really swung them out the side of the car and showed everybody what he's got. You don't have a lot of time to mess around if you want to get up to the podium, and Connor saw the opening, had to take it. Chaos ensued behind him, but none of that 35's doing. As the green flag is high, it's ready to fly. Ross Carina looks for a good restart, and that's exactly what he gets in that machine as we're underway. Steven Goldner searching that bottom right away here, and Connor Ross says thank you, leaving that top shelf open. He's going to go right around the outside, and Connor Ross finds himself in the top 5. Love to hitch a ride on with this 99. Gavin Chatham now, he's got a big boy move. He's thinking about sending it in there. He does. Jack Clevenger not close enough to counter. He gets loose. That's going to open up the door for a Connor Ross crossover here. He's going to get a big run. Jack may shut the door. Now Connor, he's going to stay up top. As you saw, Jack went down and protected. Now can Connor get a good run off of 4? Does he think about a slider? No, Jack goes down and protects. Now Connor, does he buck up? He stays to the outside here. Gotta make it stick as they're side by side. Gavin Chatham, slider on the 56 of Brandy Shreves in the 99. Up to P2, here comes Connor Ross. Not clear yet, he's got to stick it on the bottom. The 78 gonna pinch him a little bit here, make him go down, and Jack Clevenger gets into the wall, comes down, gets into the 35. I think the 35's okay, but we're under caution. Tough break. Jack Clevenger just feeling the heat. Overdrives 3 and 4 a little bit, bounces off the wall. Let's go back and take another look at it. We'll try to go up to that Chapman Racing drone camera here, and you'll see Jack, he gets in the wall here. And from there, it's just, it's going to go haywire. You got to turn down off. And he just gets a little too much sideways. I mean, he did a pretty good job of holding his line. Connor doesn't know he's in the wall, though. And, just coming down that little bit when Connor's racing side by side. Just a tough break. And Jack Clevenger will be able to go in and get that quick repair. Hopefully get back out here. But not what you want to see. And Ross Carina still out front here. He can almost feel the big check in his hands here. As go down the back stretch. Lights are still on the pace car, so not going back green here just yet. Lights are off, and we will go back green this time by Ross Carina. Still stepping the way out front, but that 99, he's been able to race his way up into P2. Keep an eye on Gavin Chatham. He's gotta be one of the favorites here with 10 to go. I'd love my pick Ross to get this done, but Gavin looks like Got a rocket lit in that thing as we get ready to take the green flag. The green flag is high. It's ready to fly. Great jump for Ross Corinna as he's able to get up in front. Possible contact between the 56 and the 99. But Connor Ross, he don't care. He's going to use that top shelf. He's going to drive on by the 56. And now he's got his sights set on the top two. After a tough heat race, Connor had to climb his way through the field. Finds himself up into third. And looky who, trying to run that outside behind him, Blake Chapman. We saw him get pancaked, absolutely obliterated through 3 and 4. He's back up into fourth. The salesman came to play. We come across that starter stripe. Ross Corinna still that man out front, but Gavin Chatham is reeling him in that 99. And you got to think it's not going to be long here until we start seeing guys throw sliders back and forth. And speaking of, Blake with a big slider on the 35. Connor coming back. Blake's got a big run, though. He's going to have the advantage in 3 and 4. And this is where Connor, if you just got to pull the ropes on the horse, you got to get back in the rhythm and follow the kid here around and see if you can run back down the top two as they're throwing sliders. Gavin finally threw the move, couldn't make it stick. Oh my gosh, he's running that cushion in 3 and 4. You just see that thing wheeling around. We got 5 laps to go. Look at Gavin in the 99, so close to that outside wall. Big run here. We're going to see a slide jump. Gets that right rear to the outside wall, and the boss counters back here. And right now, Ross Corinna coming to the line. Doesn't matter. Checkered flag, or what? Caution flag in the air. Excuse me. Caution out once again, I believe, for the 30 of Steven Goldner. See if we can. This isn't going to be Steven Goldner. I believe we got the wrong person. So Shreve shuts the door. Well, he left a little bit of a lane. Goldner tried to fit it up in there and end up both going around here at the dirt track at Charlotte, and that might do it here for the 30. Ross Corinna still leading the way here at the dirt track at Charlotte. Gavin Chatham able to stay close, having a slider battle, but not able to secure that spot just yet here from the 10 of Ross Corinna, and he's running out of time. We're going to have 3 laps to go when we take the green flag, so Gavin's got to absolutely ace this restart here coming up. As the lights are off on the pace truck, and we will line up single file and we will get set to take the green flag next time around. As Ross Corinna leads us down the backstretch here, we're set to drive off into turn 3. Just going to run that outside here, looking to get as much of a momentum boost here coming to the green flag here. As the green flag is high, it's ready to fly. Great jump for the 10, and now Gavin, rough restart. He's got Blake below him already. He's got to play defense. You got to think with a restart like that, Ross, I mean, without a mistake here, you got to think he's walked away. It's over. His 2 more trips around. The 99 says, don't count me out. He runs right against that wall in 1 and 2. Big run, and we got a big send. White flag in the air, side by side at the line. Gavin ripping that outside. He's got to crack the throttle. Ross was able to go up and shut the door. He goes down and throws the block. As we come to the checkers, Ross Corinna holds on the 99 and Gavin Chatham, P2. Blake Chapman 3rd, Connor Ross with the hard charger up to 4th, and the Brewerton Beast, Jeff Barker, rounds out the top 5 here this evening. As great race up front. I counted Gavin out, and he came out of nowhere. with 2 to go, and man, he sent it in there. He gave us a race in that 99, and give these guys a minute or two here to catch their breath and get ready to pull them up for their interviews here. As Blake Chapman will be the first one finishing third, and we'll go ahead and unmute the man who finished fourth, Connor. Man, so close to that podium, but just came up a little short. Oh, and I think there is actually a great chance that if Connor wants to come back, he can. But I think I tried to unmute him and kicked him. That's hilarious. That is absolutely hilarious. I can't believe I did that. But you live and you learn. And, well, that's the way it goes for Shaggy most nights here. Is we're going to bring up Blake Chapman. Blake, I was hoping I'd let Connor interview you, and when I went to unmute him, I clicked the kick button. So if he finds his way back in here, I'll let him take over. But yeah,
There he
he
is.
Connor, go ahead, man. Take over this interview here with Blake. You guys battled hard for third.
Yeah, Blake, congrats on the P3. I gave it my all. You ran me down, and it was kind of a similar track, but obviously a different setup and a different car in the 410. And the top was fast, but I seen you try and make the bottom work there in the last lap, and you definitely caught them quite a bit running that bottom. Just tell me, I shouldn't say what you could have done better, because you put yourself in a great situation, incident having to just talk about driving through the field and getting back up into P3 and putting yourself into contention for a win.
Yeah, just super happy to get back to the front of the field after an early wreck. We got sent to the back there, and then I found that middle line. I was able to run it in both corners, and it worked really, really well for me. And then there was that big wreck that took a couple cars out, and went back to the middle. It was still fast, and I was able to pick off a couple more cars running that line. And then at the end, it just kind of went away on me. And I was searching a little bit, especially wanted to for a line that worked. And I think the bottom probably would have been pretty quick towards the end, but yeah, just a little too late there at the end. But definitely happy running third here after that wreck early on.
No, you definitely had it a comeback this race, but a solid night, great night actually. You finished P3 both nights, so good points night for you. Anybody you got to thank?
Yeah, I got to thank the parents for watching. Got to thank all the guys down at KSR. Of course, Preston at Epsilon Sprint Wraps, Andy at AJ Custom Creations, and of course, Galen's Gourmet Popcorn. They got some of the best stuff out there. You can head over to their website, and don't forget to use code CART at checkout for 15% off some of their very delicious popcorn. And I got to thank you guys for doing this broadcast.
Well, congrats on a great night, and hope to see you out soon.
Thank you.
And now we'll bring up the man who finished, or what were you going to say, Connor? Go ahead.
I was just going to say that's your P3 finisher.
Yeah. And now we're going to bring up the man here who finished P2. Oh man, he would have been mad after that introduction. I almost brought up Ross Carina. That would have been embarrassing. But Gavin, dude, I'll tell you what, man. You go back and watch this race here with 3 to go. If we're being honest, that restart kind of got you, because I completely counted you out. And with 2 to go, you lit a rocket in that thing through 1 and 2, man. How can you just get that thing to grip so close to the wall? I don't know how you don't wreck that thing.
Just got to be super smooth and super focused on where you're running the line. First and foremost, I got to apologize to Randy Shreves. I was trying to protect the slider, because I knew we had a fast car, and I worked pretty hard to get around Randy, and he's fast too. And it's when you click these guys past you, you gotta keep behind you. And I made a mistake, and I pinched him, and I didn't mean to do that and shouldn't have done that, but I was trying to protect from the slider, because I knew he was probably going to try to take the spot back, and I don't blame him at all. But first and foremost, that's on me. I was just watching a replay on that. But yeah, just you got to be smooth, and you got to be focused to run that wall and run it right. And yeah, I tried to time it right, and I timed it wrong on the restart, and I thought I was going to try to run the top coming to the green on that restart and get the momentum going in the 1. And Ross kind of diamonded it out a little bit there, and then I just timed it wrong, and then You just never quit. You never keep fighting, and that's what we did. And I got a huge run into 1 and 2, and it's just so hard. The sliders are so far here, and Ross was getting such good runs when I was throwing them. But and we did our best and gave it all, and it was a heck of a race between me and him. And congrats to him on the win.
Obviously, coulda, woulda, shoulda there, Gavin. But when you go back to that white flag lap, you got that big run through 1 and 2, but he throws that slider. Any chance, maybe you could have cracked that throttle and tried to drive underneath him, or did it just happen so fast?
No, you know what? It worked out perfect for him. I don't think that he hit it right, but what it did was it stalled him out in the middle of the corner to the point where I was getting such a huge run that if I tried to turn underneath him, I wouldn't have gotten underneath him anyways. Or I tried to run the top, but he was blocking it, and then I probably would have sent us both for a ride. So it like really worked out well for him. But yeah, I'm not really sure what else we could have done there to get the win. I feel like it was almost a flawless race, minus getting in. And Ross drove a fantastic race, and yeah, I think that's what it was. I couldn't make the maneuver to get underneath them, and it just never would have worked. And sometimes you gotta settle for second, then sending both guys into the fence.
Well, hey, man, yeah, at the end of the night, that's a great points night. That's what you're here for. So great run, Gavin. Congratulations in that 99 machine tonight. Can't hang your head with a P2. Who you want to thank?
I just want to thank you guys for doing an awesome job with the broadcast. It's always fun after the races. I go back and watch them and see how the races played out, and it's always fun listening to you guys, and you guys do an excellent job. I just want to thank Coast to Coast Flatline Racing Bodies for sponsoring this Hometown Heroes for a while now, and I just want to thank all the sponsors involved with Coast to Coast and all the admin, everybody behind the scenes that puts these races on for us, allows us to come out here and put on a good show for everybody. I just want to thank Chatham Motorsports, Mike Schick Motorsports Designs, Velocity Race Design, Northeast Outlaw Motorsports, Miller Time Motorsports, and Slider Die Sim Sports. I want to thank all the sponsors. I just want to thank the fans for coming out and watching the races and supporting this league. And I hope as always, we put on a good show for y'all. And I just want to thank my fans as well for taking the time to watch the races and support me.
Well, hey, great run, Gavin. Congratulations, man. Look forward to a lot more of these.
All right, thanks. You guys have a good night.
You as well. And now we're going to bring up the man who stole the show here, Ross. That got eventful there. About with 10 to go, Gavin got to you, and you guys sliders back and forth. And, coulda, woulda, shoulda, but do you think that caution kind of saved you there, let you regroup?
Yeah, I knew he was coming. He's been running really good tonight, so I knew he was coming. I don't know if the caution hurt me or if it actually helped. I know that sliders. I mean, we're sending the sliders back and forth, and honestly, it is basically whoever was crossing that line first when that yellow came out. And luckily, I got it, but Goldner told me he was coming there even with 1 lap left or whatever, and I kind of went into defensive mode, kind of went slider, just to break his momentum up a little bit. But I mean, man, he was fast tonight, both in the 410s and 360. So nice to get a win.
You had to earn this one, Ross. It wasn't easy. You had to play defense there at the end, like you talked about, but able to execute those slider lines, and you hadn't run them much. How difficult is that to adjust your line there coming to the end? I mean, is it tough, or you got so many laps here, no big deal?
Nah, I think we got a lot of laps here, so it's not that big a deal. But I mean, a lot of the laps here coming in a 360, so it is a little different when you're driving the big boy. But if you just if you throttle it back a little bit and just make sure you don't slide up too hard, you usually can hit that cushion pretty good and fire off turn 4. And luckily, I was able to do it proper. And like I said, kind of went in defensive mode there on the last lap, but kind of feel bad for Gavin a little bit because he probably should have swept the night. I think he was probably the better car, but I guess that's racing, and take the wins when you can get them.
Yeah, not always the best car wins. Sometimes you got to take that skill into it. Able to shut the door, play defense at the end. That's what it took, Ross. Congratulations on the big win, man. Who you want to thank?
Like I said before, a fan of motorsports guys, Velocity Race Design. I know this is fixed setups, but M9 Racing Performance for the setups, and you guys up in the booth for putting on the entertainment, and everybody at Coast to Coast behind the scenes making the league work.
Well, hey, big win, Ross, and look forward to talking to you a lot more this season, my man.
Sounds good. Thanks, Shaggy.
And well, that's going to wrap it up here, Connor. The track ended up being a little racier than we thought in the feature. And, right before I kicked you out there, I was talking to you. You were the big mover there. You almost had that podium, but Blake just edged you out. But how do you sum up the night? How do you feel?
I still feel washed up, but no, it's definitely fun. 360s just didn't go my way. The 410s, heat race didn't, but feature definitely did, and it was fun. Me and Clevenger were swapping sliders there side by side, and like I said, sorry if that was my fault. I thought I gave him enough room, but then I wasn't sure down the front stretch, and then I kind of figured he got on the wall. But if it was my fault, like I said, sorry. But no, it was a lot of fun there. We were 3-4 wide at some point, and those guys are fast. I don't understand how they do it.
Yeah, some of those guys definitely just on another level. But that's going to do it here in the Coast to Coast Racing League. Great night for Flatline Racing Body's hometown heroes. Same 3 on both podiums. Just switched it up a little bit here for this second race. But, man, when the dogs are hungry, they're ready to eat. And you saw that Chatham, Chapman, and Corinna. Double podium night for those 3. They've got to feel good going into next week. But we're not going to go too far ahead. Tomorrow night, we're going to be at Williams Grove in the 358 modifieds and the big block modifieds. So make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Don't miss a show. On behalf of my partner, Connor, Ross, and everyone at the Coast to Coast Racing League, I am Zach Chapman from Shaggy TV, signing off. Have a good evening.